what is up to all you cinephiles out there? It's that time of the year where we see new movies and we review them. And today we're going to review the new Pirates installment.
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh, the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. It stars obviously Johnny Depp. Will Turner, aka Orlando Bloom, makes a comeback as Will Turner. You got Barbosa in it, and you also have some new faces. Why don't you start us off?
Okay, this movie was not completely god awful. It is, however, extremely weak in story, in execution, and a few of the performances. It has a huge gaping plot hole, which we'll get to in a minute, and not in like its story, but it creates one throughout the series. It creates a big plot hole that contradicts something in two.
Yeah.
I felt like the villain was. I felt like the whole ghost dead thing, whatever. I didn't like the way they were animated. I felt like a lot of the movie was just way too dark. So many things. Okay, there were times where the camera was shaky and it wouldn't stop moving, and I was like, oh, for the love of God, focus, so I could see what the hell is going on. Some shots were shot in a dark tint, and I didn't like it because I could barely see what was happening. Jack Sparrow is apparently invulnerable to injuries because he literally gets he doesn't get blown, he doesn't get hit by a cannonball, but like there's a scene where there's two ships side by side, and Jack's being chased by the bad guy, and they're jumping from using the cannon as footholds, and at one point in the scene, a cannon, literally, like, the ships hit each other, and a cannon hits him through the ship's hull, and then he gets up and he's fine. He brushes it off, and I was like, I'm sorry, last time I checked, Jack Sparrow was not superhuman. What the hell is this? Yeah, he gets thrown around. He gets thrown around like a rag doll in a couple scenes in the movie, and he's fine. And I don't know. The trident was awful looking. There's only a couple parts in the movie where animation was actually really beautiful to look at, like the island stars. That was actually interesting. But then they found the trident, and it was ugly as hell. And the bad guy, I felt like, was having way too much fun drowning Jack, and I don't know. The story was a mess. It had forced romance subplot. Will and Elizabeth were forced back into the story, and I felt like they were written off much better at the end of 3. And Jack's wardrobe looks awful. It has an awful heavy overcoat that is just ugly, and he wears it throughout the entire movie. He never takes it off, and I think that was a huge mistake that the movie did. And it has a weak villain, and he has an interesting origin story. That flashback was like the best part of the whole movie, even though it is the one that offers the major plot hole.
Yeah.
I liked how Barbosa had a daughter in the movie. I thought that was that was like probably one of the things about the movie that I liked most. And I did like how whenever she at one point realized that he was probably her father, she asks, what am I to you? And he says, treasure. And I loved that line. And I loved his sacrifice and the way he went out. And I would have preferred not to see him go, because I felt like he had more potential for future movies, but they wrote him out.
Well, the only counter argument I could say to Jack Sparrow not taking his jacket off is he has it off in the jail cell, and I think I'm pretty sure he has it off when he's about to get decapitated.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's it. Okay. But I feel like other than that, he shouldn't have been wearing it as much as he did. Is all I'm saying. Okay. But okay, yeah.
I don't know. To me, that didn't. I don't know. Maybe I have to watch the movie again. But I feel like it's the same overcoat, or maybe it's the same looking overcoat, but maybe they kind of made it too bigger this time.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
I'm just saying, like, I guess we're supposed to believe it's the same overcoat. All I'm saying is it doesn't look like his overcoat that he had in the previous movies. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. This one just looked bigger and gray, and his other one was not as. His one that I remember was not as big and it was black. That's what I remember.
Okay. Well.
I felt like Jack Sparrow barely does anything in the movie. He does that bank job scene that he he himself royally fucks up because he's so drunk and sleeping with a woman, which I get. It's fun. He's Jack Sparrow, whatever. But okay, all the stunt work he did in the in that opening bank job scene, that was all pretty fun to watch. After that, he pretty much like just chauffeurs the two young leads that are forced into a romance that we're supposed to just accept. He just chauffeurs them from where they need to go, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't hardly do any fighting that I remember. And I mean, the one other thing he really did, he helps them find the trident, and then he uses his foot to throw Barbossa the sword so Barbossa can end the bad guy. That's it. That's all he does in the movie. This movie just didn't do it for me. Usually when I watch a Pirates film, whether it has, all the Pirates film, by the end, I feel like I've gone through like some sort of experience. Whether there were things in the movie I liked about it or not, I felt like by the end of it, I was like, wow, I watched something pretty epic, even though like parts were goofy and some parts are bad. But for the most part, all the Pirates films, even at World's End, which was my least favorite, with its almost 3 hour runtime and like the whirlpool thing and all the ridiculous and a lot of stuff should have been left out, it's still like I still felt like I experienced something amazing. And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, well that was something to witness. Or this one, I was just like, nothing. Fuck. I was so underwhelmed by it, and I was just like, I felt like my time was almost wasted on this movie. If I had a decision, if I could erase any one of the Pirates films, it would be this movie.
All right. Well, I enjoyed it for what it is. I can honestly say that Pirates of the Caribbean is probably my what is it called? My guilty pleasure franchise. This is not a great movie. This is not I wouldn't even say it's a good movie. It's an okay movie to me. I still enjoyed it. I think Javier Bardem as Captain Salazar, he played his character really well. To me, he was very intimidating. To be honest, I think he's kind of more intimidating than Davy Jones in the third movie. Davy Jones was more intimidating in the second one, and it kind of fell apart in the third one to me. Yeah, the trident looked horrible. I thought they could have made it more skinnier and look more like a normal trident that you'd see in paintings of Neptune or Poseidon. Also, I also feel like there was points in Jack Sparrow's journey where he kind of became the Jack Sparrow from the first one. It wasn't all throughout the movie, but there was a scene where he's talking to Will Turner's son Henry, and he's kind of intimidating, saying like, oh, if you want to threaten me or whatever, you better pick up a sword or something like that. That was the more of the awesome Jack Sparrow that you get with the first one mainly, and it was cool to see that again, but then it goes back to being, this kind of washed up pirate. And there were times where I felt like I was watching an impersonation of Jack Sparrow, even though, yes, it's Johnny Depp doing his favorite character, as for what I heard. But there are times, especially at the very beginning, where it's like, I feel like Johnny Depp's kind of losing his hold on Jack Sparrow a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, other people might argue that he phoned it in, but I don't. That's hard. I don't believe he did because he actually said that he only did this movie because they threw so much money at him to do it, and at this point he is only doing it for his kids.
But he also likes the character.
He does.
Because I mean,
he does, and I'm sure he brought in his A level effort to do it, but I think his performance and his character just suffered from writing. That's it. I would still.
A guy who goes out to children's hospitals dressed as Jack Sparrow. And does that, and then goes, surprise people on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride as the real Jack Sparrow. So, I think it like you said, I think just writing kind of just killed a lot of Jack's moments on this one. Yeah, I felt like, and I'm one of the few that likes the movie On Stranger Tides. A lot of people that I know don't like that movie, and I like it a lot. I think it's better than this one. It's even better than At World's End. It's, in my opinion, it's even better than Dead Man's Chest. And I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for that, but that's because, I just really like it because it has more focus on Jack, and Johnny Depp nails Jack Sparrow in that movie. I felt like his performance was good, his wardrobe looked good. I thought it had a fun story to tell, and it wasn't too complicated or
or in your face with epicness. It just wanted to be what it was, and I really liked his performance in that movie. But yeah, this one it was just weaker. And but if they ever do another one, a sixth movie, I still want to see. Will I see him come back for it? I don't want this movie to be the end to our franchise. I really don't, because it's like, for me, I could never if this is the end, I could never do a Pirates marathon, because ending with this movie would just leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay.
So I hope they do another one and they course correct their plot hole. Let's mention the plot hole. You go ahead.
Hold on. Before we get to the big plot hole, I do think they leave it open for a sixth movie, especially with the end credit scene. But again, with having Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom back,
I didn't stick around for the end credit scene. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. If they didn't have him in this movie, it would have been fine to me. But I thought it was cool that they brought him back. Yes, they weren't the big focus of it, but that's okay. To me, I thought it was cool that, you know, you break your father's curse of having not to be with his child and his mom and his wife, and having his wife grow old every 10 years while he stays young, and you can only come on shore for one day. It sucks. And then, you know, they die, and then it's just like, well, now he's dead on a ship for it. So I like that aspect of that. Now he's not cursed, and he can live on in.
Well, Elizabeth didn't look like she aged a fucking day.
Right, but it's Keira Knightley.
I know it is, but I mean, come on. Her son is what, 20 something?
No, I think he's younger than that.
Oh, I don't know. I think he's
because
like
they never
pushing
really
20.
Because he only saw his father once, which is in that end credit scene at World's. I mean, not World's End. Yeah, at World's End. So he was 10.
Okay.
And so that made, depending on how old Elizabeth is in the movie, she's probably in her 30s.
Can we assume that he's pretty much 10 or 11 in the opening scene?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many years? Bunch of years later, when was it in the present time?
I want to say 5 or no, not 5. I want to say 8 maybe.
8.
She's probably 19, 20.
Yeah, that's what. Still, man, that's almost 2 decades, and the woman looks like she hasn't aged a day. I'm just saying.
But it's been 10 years since the last movie. I mean, not since the last movie they were in.
Didn't she look a little aged at the end of At World's End, though?
Not really.
No, I haven't seen that end credit scene in a long time.
But I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. It's not like we were gonna see her as an old woman in this one, even after almost a decade.
My whole take on this 5th movie is that I feel like At World's End and this movie are really just they take the pirate universe and they make a mess of, and they kind of make a mess of things in the story. Now, At World's End did finish off the story that was set up in Dead Man's Chest, and it did tie off a lot of subplots and story. I really felt like they successfully finally tied off Elizabeth and Will's story, which is just, and to me in this movie just brought back up just to have them in there and shoehorn another ending for them. And I feel like this movie just tries to take too much that the other movies have established and try to build on them. It just made a mess of it. I thought On Stranger Ties just took Jack on a random adventure that was just simple, and it felt isolated. It wasn't like blown out to be this huge thing, and it was really fun to watch. And I really was hoping for like more movies like that, but
I do like the aspect that the fact of Will and Elizabeth's ending is now like a happy classical Disney ending. Oh, they lived happily ever after. But of course, if you see
which is fitting considering it's owned by Disney.
Yeah, but if you look at the end credit scene, it's like, oh, maybe that's going to be disturbed.
Of course.
That's why it's probably open to a 6th sequel. But I also like the 5th one because you bring Jack back into the Black Pearl. That's one of the reasons why I didn't really like the ending of Stranger Tides, because he has the Black Pearl in the bottle still, and they're trying to get it open, and they're saying all this ridiculous rituals that he could probably try to do, and they didn't obviously end up doing it because he doesn't have the Black Pearl.
Yeah, but I liked it because it definitely made it clear, like it definitely ensured audiences that there was probably going to be a sequel in the future. Yeah, and it was just nice that he just had the pearl, and it was interesting that it wasn't a bottle, and he's how is he going to get it out, and then he has that great ending line, and then in this one it's a Black Pearl and everything, but again, like I felt like he barely accomplished anything in the movie, and then he has that. I don't know what he said at the end of this new one, but it was just an awful closing line. And he tends to have really good ones. Like,
yeah, I'm just glad that Jack left off with the Black Pearl, his ship that he, had to sacrifice a lot of things for to get with Davy Jones, hence the whole storyline of Davy Jones and Jack.
I guess I'll give that to this movie. That is the one silver lining, is that he has the Pearl back in his command.
Because I mean, if Pirates had ended after the third one, it would have ended where Jack doesn't have the Pearl. And
Yeah, he's going off to find the
Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
We never see that journey, but nonetheless, let's talk about that big plot hole. So, as he said, one of the best scenes of this movie is the flashback with young Jack Sparrow and his fight with Captain Salazar near the Devil's Triangle. And well, little Jack is on a ship. His captain of the ship gets blown up or shot, I forgot, and he's holding the compass that points you to whatever you want most, right? And he goes, "Here, Jack, you're the captain now. Don't betray it." And apparently it's like, oh, that's how Jack got the compass. But wait! If you're a big Pirates fan, you know that in the second movie, when they go visit Teodoma, aka Calypso, and Jack's having trouble, like, oh, I can't find this chest. I can't find the David Jones's chest. And she tells Jack in confusion, like, the compass you bartered from me, it can't lead you to this. Teodoma gave him the compass.
It was already established in Dead Man's Chest that he got the compass from Teodoma, aka Calypso, and this movie completely fabricates a different story of how he got the compass.
Yeah.
Therefore, both movies in the series contradicting each other, creating a huge plot hole. Oh my gosh, whoever the director was of this movie, you fucked up, sir. Oh my gosh. Who was the director of this movie? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
I don't know.
While you
I don't
close out.
remember. But yeah, it creates a huge plot hole because now will the compass play any big part in the next movie? I don't know. I mean, it seemed like the compass played a big part in 2, 3, and then obviously in 5. Which, another thing to kind of focus on the compass thing is that I don't get how the compass trapped Captain Salazar and his crew in the Devil's Triangle, and how they couldn't get out unless Jack apparently betrayed the compass. I don't understand how that worked because they never really
That's one thing the movie didn't explain very well.
They didn't explain it.
Okay, I think the whole thing is that once you go in there, you are trapped or cursed or whatever. But it doesn't explain how Jack betraying the compass frees them.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah. So that's another thing, and that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But like I said, overall, I still enjoy it because it is a guilty pleasure franchise of mine. I dig the mythology every time they do a mythology. I dig the whole Poseidon's trident thing, but I didn't like the look of the trident. Yeah, Jack was seemingly overused, but I think Jack Sparrow is a good main character who kind of can operate as a side character as well. But that's just my opinion.
Okay.
So who's the director?
So, I have the list of all the directors from all the movies. Gore Verbinski directed the first 3. Rob Marshall directed 4. Well done, Rob. My personal props to you. And then 2 guys directed this movie. Joe, I might pronounce your names wrong. Just Joachim Ronning and Espen Sandberg. Yeah, boys. Boys, you done fucked up. Oh my gosh, how did they not catch that? How did Disney not catch that?
All right.
Oh my gosh, like someone didn't review the script, be like, oh wait, contradiction, you gotta write this out, you gotta like change it up, or no, this totally slipped through the crack.
Yeah.
And it creates the hugest plot hole in the Pirates franchise. Thank you very much. You know,
you would think that they would have like a book of like, okay, this is the mythology of this world. You can't do this. This is how this happens.
However, our story is written, they cannot contradict anything.
Yeah.
You know,
but somehow this, like you said, somehow this plot hole slipped through the cracks, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, I hope they go ahead and make a sixth one. I don't know how much money the movie's making. I think it's doing fine on money.
Front most likely.
Yeah.
It's like Transformers in a way.
Yeah, I
They
guess. Yeah.
pull out pretty bad movies, but yet it makes bank.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope they make a sixth one and kind of like get the series back afloat again, because I feel like this movie sinks it almost. And I hope that the next movie, if and whenever they do it, I hope it's just much better than this. And it's that's all I got. I'm done talking about it.
So, what'd you guys think of Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tell No Tales? I was about to say Dead Man's Chest. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time,
We're out.
today we're going to be doing a review of a very summer movie, obviously for summer reasons, and that's going to be Baywatch.
I liked it.
I hated it. So, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And until next